Thanks, folks. We'll just convene in a few seconds once the Deputy Provost comes back in. Right, folks, thanks very much. IT's switched back on. Thanks, Robert. Folks, thanks for that understanding for the wee recess. I'm going to hand over to the leader. I'm going to take the cabinet positions first, if that's okay, and then we'll decide with other ones, with everybody's input. Is that okay? Leader.
Okay, there's 11 in the cabinet, and there's 7 spokespersons in terms of the SNP. Plus, we'll have a member of the. So, just going in order it's there. Myself as leader of the council, I'll be spokesperson as written down there with special responsibility for strategic COVID recovery, strategic planning, community wealth building and regeneration. The Deputy Leader, Jim McMahon, will take on the roles at the bottom of the table of 2. He'll be the Cabinet spokesperson for housing, welfare, poverty, social care, mental wellbeing, addiction and recovery. So Councillor Neil Ingram will be the Cabinet spokesperson for community safety, roads and transportation. Cabinet member for responsibility for finance and digital was Councillor Ian Linton. Cabinet member with responsibility for planning, human resources and property will be Claire Maitland. Cabinet member with responsibility for lifelong learning, education, skills and culture will be Elaine Cowan. Cabinet member with responsibility for children and young people, net zero, environment, climate change, equalities and inclusion will be Councillor Graham Barton. What I'm also proposing to do is have a review of decision-making structures in terms of localities, and I'm proposing that we give that role to Councillor Drew Filson within the Cabinet to chair a short life working group to look at localities, and that he be a spokesperson to look at how we can improve local decision-making, and to form a short life working group, and as a task member, the Chief Executive to come back with a report back to Council on that. And would, apart from that, invite representations, 2 from the Labour group and 1 from the Conservative group onto the Cabinet.
Thanks, Leader, and thanks, Councillor Linton. Over to the Labour group. Councillor Mackay,
thank you very much, Provost. And our people on Cabinet will be myself and the Deputy Leader.
Thank you. Conservative group, Councillor McFadden.
Be myself as the group leader.
Thank you. Members, sorry, Eddie, yep.
Councillor Mackay, can I just confirm Deputy Leader is Councillor Barry Douglas?
Chief Exec, indeed it is, yes.
Thank you, thanks for that. Members, that's the proposals for the Cabinet. All the positions are populated, apart from the Chief Execs to go away and look at the new role, a very important role. Are we okay with that? Thank you very much. We're going on to taking it item by item. So paragraph 2 is the Governance and Scrutiny Committee.
Thanks. Thanks, Provost. Can I move the 11 members through the 5321 formula that's there? Could I, from us, could I invite that the chair be a member of the Labour group, that the vice chair be Councillor Richardson, and our other representatives be Councillors Hogg, Canning, Clark and Lennox. And can I invite from 2 members from the Conservative group and 3 members of the Labour group and the member of the Independent group. I would invite Councillor Cogley if she's willing to take the role within scrutiny as well. I've not had a chance to speak to her, but hopefully she can take it.
Right, thanks. I'll take that as the numbers are. Councillor Mackay?
Thank you very much, Provost. And we would put forward Councillor Lillian Jones as chair, and the other names we will give officers. Thank you.
Very kind, thank you. Councillor McFadden?
Can we provide the names to officers, please?
Thank you. And Councillor Cogley, if you can hear.
Yes, thank you. I accept that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cogley. Thanks. The third item is the planning function, and it's over to the Planning Committee.
Thanks. Can I move from our side? Can I move Councillor Maitland as chair, Councillor Cowan, yourself, Provost, Councillor Lennox, and did I say Councillor Cowan? And Councillor Leach. No, sorry, Councillor Barton.
If that was Councillor Barton, you probably declared, if that was Councillor Barton in place of Councillor Leach, then that would be 5 SNP positions at the moment, and as the current scheme of deals, it's 6, so I don't know if
And Councillor Hogg.
Thanks for that. Again, Councillor Mackay is populate later.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
that's absolutely fine. Councillor McFadden, same.
Populate later, yes.
Yeah.
Provost, I was, in terms of the planning committee, I was inviting 1 from the Conservative group and Councillor Filson and Councillor Friel from the Independents.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Right, got you. Yep. Is that okay, folks? Right, thank you. We're on to the local review body, and the membership can only be drawn from the planning committee, and it's 5 available members.
Thanks. Could I move Councillor Maitland, Councillor Hogg, and invite Councillor Friel from the Independents, and could I have 1 each from the Labour and Conservative groups?
That fits with the membership. David?
Yeah.
Yep, that's, yeah. Everybody happy with that one? They've got to be members of the planning committee who's on the local review body.
Yeah.
Thank you. We got that. So that item 3 is done then. Local review body is done. Appoint 2 other members as potential chairs from planning committee membership in addition to the chair of planning committee. Okay. Yep.
Just check that there were 2 names there then, because in terms of local review body, as the Provost read out, it's 2 other members as potential chairs in addition to the chair of planning. So if Councillor Maitland has been appointed as chair of planning, you're looking for 2 other potential chairs from the review body membership to be alternative chairs to the LRB. So I've got Councillor Jennifer Hogg. I didn't know if there was is there a second alternative chair?
Graham Barton.
Thank you.
I know, thanks, David. That's good getting cleared up. Excuse me. Item 4 is the grants committee, and that's a population of 13.
Okay. Chair and Vice Chair, and I'll give you the other 4 later. Can I move Councillor Linton to chair and yourself, Provost, as Vice Chair, and the before from the Labour group and 2 from the Conservative group, 1 independent. I'll maybe ask Councillor Cogley if she'd want to sit in that one.
Thank you very much for the offer, but can I decline politely,
No.
please? Thank you.
I'm forgetting Councillor Boyd. I've not mentioned Graham. Sorry, Graham. That's a good kit.
Thank you, Leader. I'm happy to accept it.
Very good.
No, thanks for that. Councillor McCann, Councillor McFadden, to populate after. That okay? Yep. Thank you. I think we've covered the grants. Item 5 is Police, Fire and Rescue Committee, 11 members.
Can I invite Councillor Barton to chair and also include Councillor Ingram, Councillor Maitland, yourself and Deputy Provost. And can invite 3 from the Labour group, 2 from the Conservative group, and maybe ask Councillor Boyd if he wants to go in that one as well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for that. Councillor Mackay and Councillor McFadden, populate after.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. Number 6 is Local Government Licensing Panel, 13 members.
Could I move that the Deputy Provost chair? Or yourself, Provost? So yourself and Deputy Provost on the panel. Councillor Canning, Councillor Richardson, and Councillor Ingram from our side. And Councillor Lennox.
That's great. So we've got a 4-2 and a 1. Councillor Mackay. Same.
Yes, names to be
Thank you.
submitted. Thank you.
Councillor McFadden, thank you. And there's one other.
I don't if Councillor Filson. Can't name what it is. Yeah.
Thanks for that. Now, local appeals panel. The appeals panel is membership is drawn from all 32 members of the council. Under the current scheme of delegation, it provides for the chair being the cabinet member with responsibility for planning, HR and property. And then we appoint 2 other members as potential chairs. For the new councillors, this is a really important role, and you will be asked to sometimes stand on appeals. And training will be given, but please ask if you're not clear. Please ask, and you'll get all the necessary training. So we're okay with that population, but with the proviso that the chair of the cabinet member with responsibility for planning, HR and property is the nominal chair. And we appoint 2 others. Is that okay, members? Yep.
We'll have the spokesperson.
Spokesperson, Councillor McMahon, and one other nominal chair from the Labour group. Is that okay, Councillor Mackay? Thank you. On to the Central Joint Consultative Committee, local government employee and excuse me, craftspersons. And we need to appoint 9 members. And the way this works, the chair is in a revolving rotation of a year. 1 year it's the council, the next year it's the trades. So we've got 9 members for that.
Therefore, will be Councillor McMahon, Councillor Clark, Councillor Maitland, and Councillor Canning.
Thank you. The other one is Joint Negotiating Committee for Teaching Staff, and this is 4 members, and the current allocation of seats as per the scheme of delegation. So it's 2, 1 and 1.
So our 2 will be Councillor Cowan, Councillor McMahon,
populate. Yeah, is that okay? Thank you.
Robert, sorry,
Sorry.
just to confirm item 8 as well, there are 3 and 2 from the Labour and Conservative groups. Presumably also those names will come forward later for 8, and then again for 9 we have 1 each.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Boyd.
Thank you, Provost. Can you just reiterate the JNCT for teachers? How's it working again? Because I'd be happy to serve in that.
Yeah, four members, it's 2, 1 and 1.
Aye.
Just to clarify.
Right, I'm just stating my position that obviously it's up to your group.
Sure.
Right, thank you.
And for the benefit through you, probably of everybody, what has been moved at the moment is what you have there at number paragraph 8 in that page, which is of the 9 members, the leader of the council has proposed 4 names for from his group and 3 names from the Labour group and 2 names to forthcome from the Conservative group. So that's the proposal on the table. I'm only raising it if anyone was otherwise minded, then now would be the time to move something different. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was making it clear it's the teachers group.
I know, but the monitoring officer was just pointing out
Apologies then.
the item
Wrong
previous.
committee through you, Provost. In relation to the JNCT, it's the same. The leader of the council has put forward 2 names for the SNP. There is 1 name allocated to the Labour group, 1 seat, sorry, allocated to the Labour group and 1 to the Conservative group. So at the moment, there wouldn't be any proposals to include anyone else before council unless anyone was otherwise minded. Sorry.
Provost, can I get a 1 minute recess?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's get it right. Councillor McFadden.
The Conservative group would happily give up the seat to Graham for the role he's looking for, if that was available.
Okay, thanks, Councillor McFadden.
No, thanks for that.
I'll accept that, obviously.
Thank you. Thanks, John, for expediting that matter. I appreciate that. Councillor Mackay.
May I just say we're absolutely delighted about that. And again, thank you, John. We would have considered the same. Thank you very much.
Councillor Cogley, is this for on this item?
Yes, just as a matter of principle, I wish to clarify the position in terms of the allocation. Why is it that the Conservatives as a group have an allocation of 1, whereas there are as many independents with a T as there are Conservatives?
We'll hand over to the monitoring officer to explain. Thank you.
I was just about to get the spreadsheet out, but hopefully we won't need it. There is a thing called the COSLA formula, but it isn't really a formula. And this is advised to all councils to adopt as best practice to reflect proportional representation within your council appointments against the political makeup of your council. So if you take the COSLA model, which you'll see in the papers come later, as a simple example, which actually is on point here because it's 4 posts, then the formula is actually simple arithmetic, whether you do fractions or decimal. So in relation to this, you would take the approach of how many seats on council does a group have? And that, for instance, here would be in the case of the SNP 14 over 32 times the number of seats available, which is times 4. And that, from memory, because the proper officer, finance officer, did this for us the other week, from memory, 14 over 32 times 4 would lead to an entitlement of 1.75 seats. 10 seats over 32 for the Labour group, being the second largest group, would be 1.25 from memory, and 4 seats, because the Conservatives as a group have 4 seats in council, is 1/8 or 0.5%, sorry, of the 4 seats. So obviously COSLA won't let us take a saw to the seats in Edinburgh and cut them in half. So the formula only takes you to those outcomes, and it's the same here. So the starting point would be you have a political group of 14 seats, a political group of 10 seats, and a political group of 4 seats. What you then have as a council, what we have as a council then, is a further 4 individuals who all hold a seat each. There are 3 independent candidates who have not intimated, and indeed one party, a 4th party with 1 seat. Each of them stand as individuals because no one has intimated to the chief executive that they see themselves as being aligned in any way, as in any kind of a group of alliance. So they are 1/32 each, rather than a group of 4 because they aren't aligned as a group. So they are each entitled, the 3 independents and Councillor Cogley from the Rubbish Party are entitled to 1/32 of everything, which then doesn't get to sufficient decimal points to be entitled to be awarded a seat. So if you take the COSLA approach, it's the same for that GINCT. There are 4 seats available, and the mathematics or the formula produces 1.75, 1.25 and 0.5, and it's then a matter for council whether they round up or down. The only other thing I would say is that formula is applied by all councils. It's encouraged by COSLA because it's seen to be fair. But it is a convention, and it is up to council ultimately. Where you're not bound by it, is what I'm saying. You're expected to follow it, but you're not bound by it. So if council wanted to modify that, it would be in council's gift. But at the moment, the proposal along the lines of 211 reflects the application of the COSLA formula with that moderation. And if someone's due 0.5, you would not normally round down. If you wanted to round down, then it would be the Conservative group would seat that would then be allocated elsewhere if that was in the mind or the will of council. So the difference is there are 4 Conservatives in a group, there are 4 individuals who are either independents or in a party on their own, but they count as 1 each, not 4, unless at any point in the life of the council they would choose to align themselves as a group of any number.
Thanks for that, David. Councillor Cogley. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, thank you. If I could just come back in here. And David, thank you for your explanation. I remember having this conversation with you 5 years ago when I initially queried it, and I absolutely accept the maths and COSLA's statement. But as a matter of principle, and I think in relation to this committee, it doesn't necessarily arise because the seat has been given to somebody who actually wants it. But it seems to me that if the independent councillors are to be given full recognition and their voices are to be listened to, then we perhaps need to review how we are looking at some of these principles, because to me it seems as though we are being discriminated by virtue of the fact that we're not part of a big political group. Thank you.
Well, I think a couple of things to say on that. Leader.
I think we've heard from David the kind of explanation. I think in general terms, I think we have to stick with this. But as far as this committee goes, I'm more than happy to accommodate, given given special interest in this. 1-1-1-1. If that, I know that the Leader Opposition's happy with that too. I appreciate the concerns that Councillor Cogley is making, and we're trying to do our best within the system to accommodate as many people and be as inclusive as we can.
Provost,
Sure.
if it helps, I'm not sure why it's a sticking point here, because as members are aware, you have appointed one of the independent members to the GINCT for teaching staff at item 9. Another point perhaps worth making is that you have already modified the formula, if you like, or the output of the formula, and a number of the independent members have already been appointed not necessarily in accordance with the formula. So I think council has already shown the will to adapt and modify to reflect the composition in the appointments from the appointments that are made to date. But I can only stress again, this is a matter for council as to how you wish to allocate the roles. It's not a matter for any outside body or any officer for that matter, and no one is dictating it has to be a particular way. We're simply giving the best advice as to what the approach has always been, but that approach is not, is capable of being modified and has already been modified in this chamber this morning, and indeed you have an independent appointed here, so sure. I would leave it at that, Provost.
No, thanks, but Councillor Cogley, I just need to clear an item up. It was always my understanding through you that you weren't an independent, you represented the Rubbish Party. So I'm a wee bit at a loss when you're reasoning today.
I am the Rubbish Party. That is absolutely, you are absolutely correct, Provost. I am the Rubbish Party, not an independent, but I am one of a group of 4 in that we are not aligned to any of the major political parties. So that was the point that I was making there. Thank you.
No, absolutely fine. No, thank you. We're okay with that. We're cleared with the membership of those 2 committees. Thank you. Sorry. Oh, yeah, Councillor McCann.
Again, if it's 1-1-1-1, we will submit a name. Thank you.
Thanks for that, and thanks from the Conservative group for that.
Provost, sorry, can I just check as well? So for the GINCT, we do have 2 members from the SNP group. So, Councillor Reid, are we going to drop one of them if we're going down to a 1-1-1-1?
No, because, sorry, through you, Provost, it was Councillor McFadden that gave up the Conservative seat. So you have 2 SNP, 1 Labour and Councillor Boyd, I think, is the current proposal. Because that's where we're at the moment.
No, it's okay. We'll get it cleared up. Yeah, it's very important. Councillor Mackay.
Thank you very much. Yes, I think the monitoring officer is expressing what actions have actually already been expressed, but then Leader made a further offer, which was 1-1-1-1, which my understanding is that would change again. So it would be 1-1-1-1.
I'm up for it. I mean, I don't know if Councillor McFadden declines, so I don't, so I'll just, so I'll keep it at 2-1-1, if that's okay.
No, that's fine. No, it's very important we get it cleared up. Yeah, it's very important. So it's 2-1-1. And could we go through it again, please? Who populates that committee?
Who else?
Councillor Reid, it was Councillor Cowan and Councillor McMahon that was proposed
That's
initially.
right. Sorry, hi.
Well, that's clear. I'm clear. It's important to get that sorted out. Thank you. Thanks, folks. We're going on to item 10, Ayrshire Shared Service Joint Committee. 4 members and chair.
I think the formula 2-1-1, is that?
If you apply the formula and the cause example comes up later, then for 4 seats anywhere, then given the current composition of the council following the last election, it would follow as 2-1-1, and each of the 4 individual members, whether they're independents or of a particular party of 1, fall out of that allocation because 1/32 of 4 doesn't get a seat.
Okay. I'll certainly, can I maybe have 2 minutes recess just to...
Through you, Provost, if members want any length,
Maybe
the council could agree.
To tidy some of these ones at the end up just to...
If it helps as well, Provost, through you, there is also the other item in relation to appointments to outside organisations. So maybe members maybe want an adjournment would allow any further discussion that might be required on all of those. So we'll take as long as
we'll go with these ones just now, and then we'll go into the...
Well, listen, folks, we're doing really well with time, so there's no problem with having a recess if you would like to have a couple of discussions, yeah. So that's, say, 11:10. Come back here for, how long would you need?
1:30.
Come back at 1:30, folks, and that'll give folk a wee break. Thank you. 1:30, reconvene. Thanks.
Pauline, could we stop the recording again, please? Thanks.